If you're struggling with builder gel overlays and fills and really want to learn how to do an easy gel overlay, this one's going to be for you. What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. And today is all about the builder gel. So the nails that I just showed you at the start, that is my builder gel overlay that needs a fill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this safety coarse carbide bit from Pana. I get those off Amazon, and I'm going to debulk my nail because I need to rebalance my apex now that my nails are starting to grow out a little bit, and I need to do a fill. So I like to go over and get some of the bulk down off my builder gel. That's the very first step that I do. So if you're just starting off with your natural naked nails, as we call them, you wouldn't need to do this part. You wouldn't need to use that carbide bit to debulk some of the old builder gel. You would start with this sanding band that I'm using now. So the sanding band I use to prep the surface of any new growth, and then I very gently run it over the builder gel that's already on there to remove any lifting and to smooth out any lumps and bumps from when I was e-filing it off. So that would be the first thing you do. If you're not comfortable with an e-file, you can just use a buffing block and very gently go over your nail. When I'm using that sanding band, I'm only running it at like 3,000 to 5,000 RPMs. Then you can remove any excess cuticle that's stuck to your nails. I use that cuticle nail bit, and if you don't want to use an e-file for that part either, you can use a glass cuticle pusher to remove your cuticle that's stuck to your nail plate. Then you'll want to go in and clean your nails with some isopropyl alcohol. Now we're going to start on our actual builder gel steps. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to use dehydrator to really make sure there's absolutely no oils, no dust, anything left on my nails. I do these steps one hand at a time because the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to apply primer. And you want your primer to be tacky and sticky when you're applying the builder gel over it. You apply dehydrator thumb to pinky, and then you want to go in and etch your primer over, and you'll do 2 layers of it. So the first layer, etching, means that you really scrub the primer into your nail. You don't want to flood your cuticles with it. You do that thumb to pinky, and then go in with a second layer, thumb to pinky as well for your primer. That's going to help you get better adhesion. Now, before you do your actual builder gel overlay, you can apply a thin layer of gel base and fully cure that. Some people get better adhesion if they use gel base first. I am somebody who actually the opposite happens. So I personally have to skip gel base, and I go right in with my builder gel on top of my primer. You want to do your slip layer first, and the slip layer is a really thin layer of the builder gel that you do not cure. You don't cure that, so when you put your bead of builder gel on your nail, you put it back towards the back of your nail, not quite at the cuticle, and then that's the builder gel layer that you're going to work down your nail, and then you're going to work it towards your cuticle as well. The slip layer is going to help it move really nicely. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It allows you to slip the builder gel down your nail. After each step that I apply, I like to flip my nail over for about 5 to 10 seconds. That starts to help the apex build naturally, and that makes it a lot easier for you when you're trying to build your apex, that you're not having to pull the builder gel back into the correct spot. It's just building it naturally because the builder gel self-levels and it just floats to that middle apex area of your nail. For each nail, I like to do the exact same steps. I apply the slip layer over the entire nail, don't cure it, and you make sure the slip layer is really thin. Then you take your bead of builder gel, place it not right at the cuticle, but back towards there, and then float it down your nail. So floating it down your nail is like a side to side motion. Once you get that initial amount of the bead like slightly back towards your cuticle, then you take your brush and just swoop it side to side to float it down your nail. The reason that works so well is it really helps to level out the product without getting a lot into one area. So you don't want a ton of builder gel in one area of your nail, or it's going to get really thick, and that's what you definitely don't want. You want it to level out nicely. You want it to apply really evenly to your entire nail. And sometimes, depending on like what finger that I'm doing, if I'm doing my thumb, I need to do a lot more floating and typically do 2 beads down my nail because my thumb is so much bigger than the rest of my nails. After every nail, you want to flash cure it for about 5 to 10 seconds before moving on to the next nail. And then at the end, you'll do a full cure. So I do my thumb separately for 60 seconds and then my pointer through pinky separately, well, the four of them together for 60 seconds. That's going to ensure that your thumb is fully cured as well as your other nails. I'm going to do a mini extension on my ring and pinky fingers. They just got a little bit over filed when I was reshaping. I filed down a little too short and I left them go for like 2 minutes and I finally got tired of seeing them so much shorter. You want to take a paper form and make sure that it's lined up correctly under your nail. So you saw me line it up so that it would be nice and flush with my natural nails. Then when you're applying your slip layer, you just barely float it down to where you want it to be. So this is a really small extension. This isn't going to be a real long one. So I only need a little bit of builder gel at the end to ensure that I'm getting that extension done. And you want to make sure when you're doing an extension that you basically act like your nail is that long. So I pull the builder gel down more. I did the slip layer and applied a little bit of it past where my nails are, where I wanted that extension, and then do the same thing when I'm floating the bead down my nail. I just keep pulling it down past the end of my natural nail onto the paper form. And you want to make sure that you do your flash cure for at least 10 seconds before taking the paper form off. If you try to pull it off right away, it is not going to stay, and then you're going to mess up that beautiful extension that you did. So I have some videos that I'll make sure that I link at the end for doing longer extensions. This was like a really quick, just little one. Once I take the paper forms off, you'll be able to see that I didn't do the extension super particularly. I just kind of slopped it on there, but you want to make sure that you fully cure them. And when you're doing an extension, just like when you're doing the overlay on your nails, you want to flip that extension over with the paper form, hold it upside down for about 10 seconds before flash curing to make sure that you're building your apex. Then once you've fully cured all your nails, I like to spray them with isopropyl alcohol so I can go in and do all my filing and shaping and then buffing too, because I like to buff my builder gel really, really smooth before I apply any other product on. I typically do peel base over top of my builder gel. So buffing them really, really smooth gives the peel base a nice surface to adhere to when I do my dip or my gel over top of it. One of the things that I love so much about builder gel is it shapes so beautifully. So since builder gel cures hard, even though it's technically a soft gel because you can soak it off, it cures and feels hard, and then you can file and shape. So when you're doing extensions, that's really great to be able to get those extensions to look exactly how the other nails look if you didn't do the extension perfectly. And you saw my extension was a little bit messy, and that's okay because I just took my hand file and made the shape look like the other ones. If you notice that part of your builder gel looks a little thick on the one side of your nail, not a problem. Take your hand file before you go in and buff and just file down some of the sides so you get that beautiful apex, that beautiful C curve that we are all going for. And the reason I like to focus so much on making sure I have an apex built with my builder gel is then when I do my dip mayonnaise over top of this, I don't have to worry about getting a nice apex with my dip powders. It's already done. I like to spray my nails with isopropyl alcohol, clean them off so that they are ready to go and put the next product on. Check out the next video and I'll teach you how to do long builder gel extensions. Thanks so much for joining me today, Nail Crew.